Hey everyone. So I'm back. I'm back. Okay, so yesterday I went to the dollar store. I wasn't gonna go. I was gonna go to Petco, which is next door to where I work. And okay, let me back up. So since my boss has been on vacation, my GM, Will, God has been showing me some things, and he told me that a test was coming, and I was like, oh, another test. I feel like I've been through so many. Like I really don't want to go through anymore. But this test was going to be in the natural. It was going to be something for work, and I haven't heard the results yet. But Cody was smiling today, so I'm thinking it's good news. So we'll see. Well, I have to wait until the GM comes back to find out what it is that was happening through this time period. But anyway, so I've been working with the supervisor. I worked with him on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then again on Friday, and I work with him again tomorrow on Saturday. Now, this man likes to stress you out. He likes to pull you in different directions. He gives you one instruction and then he goes, never mind, change that. Or he'll critique you, tell you do this, do that. And then he'll be like, why would I want you to do that? No, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, okay. I did get frustrated because at this stage of my career, at this stage of my life, I know what I'm doing. I have experience. I've done this job for a very long time. I've proven myself to the GM, to the manager. But now they're looking for me to prove myself to the supervisor. Eyes to see and ears to hear. So the 99-cent stores across the nation are closing down. And God has been leading me periodically to go and purchase things because they're going on sale. And so you're getting them for a much cheaper price than you would before. And so yesterday I was not going to go. But Kimberly, one of the girls that works at the store, she's a coworker of mine. She's brand new, and I'm trying to train her because the behaviors that she's picked up are the behaviors that we don't want. So now I have to retrain her. I have to get it out of her head the way that she was trained. So I'm frustrated about that. I'm frustrated because the supervisor has been going this way and that. And to me, I feel like I'm stumbling, like I'm not doing my job as to the best of my abilities. And so I feel like I'm not giving my best foot forward. So I'm being hard on myself. And so I realized today when I talked to Cody that I said, what's the feedback you got on me? And he goes, nothing bad. You're okay. I'm like, really? I said, okay, then I'm being harder on myself than what the situation was. Okay, got it. And he just looked at me. And I was like, okay, all right. So this is where I'm going with this, okay? So yesterday, I was going to go to Petco to pick up some puppy pads. But the girl, my coworker, told me, no, go to the 99-cent store because I went there yesterday and I bought some. And I said, yeah, but they don't have the ones I need. They have the smaller ones. And she goes, I bet they have the ones you need. And she goes, and they're on sale. I'm like, okay, I'll go and I'll pick some up. So I went into the store, and of course, I didn't find them because they didn't have what I needed. But I did find some other things. So I bought a mat to put underneath my my pups' feeding bowls. So I have this, what do you call it? This, I can't even think what it's called. It's a canine tray holder. It holds the dog food and the water at an elevated height because he's so tall. It helps with his digestive system. So I bought some mats to go underneath so that way when he's drinking his water and he moves away because he tends to let it drip off his mouth. Some dogs. And he happens to be one of those dogs. And so I just want to get that taken care of so I don't have any more water on the floor. And then I bought some push pins and I bought some chocolates. The milk chocolate with the caramel inside. They're Giraldi's. They're my favorite. When I got to the register, the lady that was helping, the cashier that was helping the people before me, she was trying to explain to them that she needed them to put in an employee number in order for them to get an additional discount on top of the discounts that they were having at the store. But it was only for that day. So this was yesterday. Yesterday was the 18th. And then the total with the discount. So the employee number that they used, or the employee ID that they used to add this additional discount, 111, which is alignment, which is the number 3, which is also fruitfulness. It is completion. And so with the discount of $2.52, which basically meant one of those mats was only 16 cents, or no, 18 cents. So essentially free. The total for my bill came to $8.88. Yeah. $8.88. So after that happened, I was on my way home, and I was on the second bus coming home. So I take 3 buses now. The first bus takes me the longest. It takes me all the way back to work, and it brings me all the way to where I catch the second bus, and then I catch the third bus. And when I was on the second bus, all of a sudden I started to feel hot. Like I could feel that I was running almost like a fever. And so I got home and I was talking to God. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, I don't understand. He goes, go take a bath. So I went and I took a bath. And all of a sudden, this heaviness came over me. And I was on fire. I literally felt like I was running a fever. And I could feel the heat on my cheeks. And I'm like, God, what is wrong with me? Why am I feeling like this? And it was like 8 o'clock at night. I had eaten dinner when I got home because he had told me, get some chicken. Don't worry about missing the bus. You can catch the next one. And so I did. I went and I got chicken, and I came in and I ate the chicken, and I didn't realize how hungry I was. I devoured all 3 pieces in one. Yeah. And so when I laid down to go to bed, I felt like a heaviness. And I'm like, Father, I've never felt like this before. What is wrong with me? Like, am I sick? And he said, no, it's me. I'm here. And I was like, oh. And so I just lay there in the bed. I'm like, okay. I didn't go to sleep. I was listening to some gospel music. And a few nights ago, he's now leading me to say this part. I had a dream, and it was this man, and he wasn't wearing a shirt. And okay, so God always puts people in your dreams who remind you of the people in your life. And my dad, my earthly dad, the man who was given responsibility to raise me, he, as soon as he got home, he would take off his shirt. That was his thing. So there were many times when I was laying on the couch with him and he would be bare-chested because he didn't have a shirt on. But it didn't bother me because I grew up with it, so it was natural, it was normal. So in this dream, there was this man, and I couldn't see his face. Like he was so tall. Like I would look up, but I couldn't see his face. And this was a few nights ago. This was last week when I had this dream. And I remember dancing with him. And it reminded me of when I danced with my dad, my earthly dad. And I was like, is this you, Father? And he goes, yes. And then, so he's dancing me around, and I can't touch the floor because he's so tall. But my feet are doing the moves of the dance that we're dancing. So my toes are like barely touching the ground. And I remember looking around, and it looked like we were in a room. But then he said, focus. This was after the dream was over, and I'm starting to think about the area that I was in, and I was like, Father, what does this dream mean? And so I started to really focus on my surroundings. And I realized I was outside. And there were trees, and the area we were dancing in was a dirt area. But the grass was growing in. It just hadn't gotten to the spot where we were at. And I remember God like pulling me in, and he was like, you know, I was like, what? And he goes, this is how they're going to try and dance with you. They're going to try and pull you in, and they're going to try and squeeze you into them, and they're going to try and rub against you. And he goes, but you have to discern. You have to understand. You have to know who the man for you is. I'm like, okay. And he goes, this is not what I want for you. I don't want them to rub against you. I don't want them to suffocate you. I want you to have freedom. I want you to do the things that I'm asking you to do and not be restricted. I'm like, okay. And so then he's been bringing me words about, you know, it's fast approaching, it's coming fast. And then today, as I'm leaving for work, the owner is standing right in front of my room. And so I walk out, and I'm like, I close the door, and he looks at me and he goes, where are you going? I said, I'm going to work. And he goes, you're leaving right now? I'm like, yeah, I have to be at work early. And I said, and I won't be back until later tonight because I'm working a 10-hour shift. But my boss let me go home early. He's never let me go home early. He always keeps me. He's like, you're the only one who does your job. You're the only one who works. You're the only one who always I can count on. And today he was like, no. They need to know what it's like to work without Diana. They need to know what it means to pull their weight. And I was like, okay. So I'm like, woo! And I looked at him and I said, but if you want me to stay and you want me to stay through Rush, I will. And he goes, no, I want you to go home. I want you to have a good evening. And I want you to just relax. Thank you, Father. And so I've been rejoicing. God has said this is a celebration. I did not drink yesterday and I did not drink the day before. Mostly because this cold, this thing that's going on in my head is Lucifer trying to keep me miserable. And God has brought this woman on the bus these last 2 times I've been on the bus. She wasn't on the bus yesterday. She wasn't on the bus the day before, but she was on the first. She was on the bus Tuesday when I was my first day working the day shift. And this woman, I could tell, doesn't take the bus normally. And the reason I say this is because she's dressed up, and I noticed that she carries her heels on her backpack, and she wears sneakers on the bus. And the entire time she's on the bus, she doesn't sit down, she doesn't touch anything. She has like a napkin or paper towels or something that she can hold on to the railing. And this man with his children came on the bus, and she was snarling, like she was like, like she was like, disgusting. Like, I can't believe these people are on the bus, and why am I on the bus? Like, she was really reacting to having to humble herself to take the bus like everybody else. And I didn't understand. Like, at first, when I first saw her, I was like, oh, I guess she doesn't like the bus. Today, God said, watch her. So I did. I paid attention to what she was doing. Like, I paid attention the first time, but the first time I wasn't really thinking about what she was doing. I was trying not to judge her. I was trying not to, you know, I prayed over her that God would soften her heart, and God would send the Holy Spirit into her, and you know, free her from the shackles of Lucifer. Because really, if we're looking at each other that way, with disdain and with not love, it's because we have walls up. Lucifer has created this mindset in our minds that people are disgusting, that people are gross, and we don't want to be near them. And so, sorry, I know I just jumped from one story to the next, but I'll come back to the landlord. So, on the way home today, she was on the bus. She was on the bus before I got on the bus. And she was doing the same thing. She was like, and you could see her just be disgusted with everything that around her. And so I started asking God. I'm like, hey, Father, why is she? And he said, she won't humble herself. And then he said, what's different about you? So then I realized I'm like sitting there, you know, kicking my feet up, and because I'm short, so I don't reach the floor. That's why I like having those seats with the bars underneath the seat in front of me, because then I can put my feet up, and I have a little bit of leverage. So when the bus stops abruptly, I'm not about to hit the front seat. But the seat I was sitting on had this like drum where the wheel is underneath. And so I put my foot on it, and literally I'm that short that my leg is, it's like I'm sitting down on the floor, and my legs are in a 90-degree angle. And my other foot, I'm kind of swinging it around, and I'm listening to my music, and I'm bopping my head, and I'm smiling. And she goes, and God says to me, do you see the difference between me and her? He said, yes. And I said, well, I have joy, and I have you in my life. And regardless of what it looks like in the natural, I know that you are blessing me, because I feel peace, because I feel love. I feel loved. And I said, and regardless of whether or not any of my blessings come to fruition, I have the best blessing of them all. And that's you, Father. That's your love. That's your presence, your kindness towards me. The fact that you know my name, the fact that you care about what matters to me. And he said, that's the difference. That's why you're going to receive blessings. And so there's things that have been happening at work. Was it Stephanie or was it Sunray? One of those two prophets. Or they both said it, but one touched on it, the other one elaborated on it. And they said that when God is ready to bless you, he will remove those that are not for you, that are not for him. So I kid you not, Cassie is like trying so hard to find another job. She's like, I can't be here. I can't stand being here anymore. I have to go. Her sister is now, today was her last day. And I was like, why is everyone leaving, Father? And he says, because it's the changing of the guard. Over the last probably 3 weeks, I have fallen 8 times. The first time was right before Mariah passed away. The second time was right after Mariah passed away. And I've had a couple other instances that I know Lucifer is trying with everything he can to get me to step away from the alignment that I'm in with God, so that I don't receive my blessings, so that I don't get the things that God has for me. And I'm like, wow. Like, he has it out for me that badly? Like, what the heck are you going to do in my life? That he's that desperate, that he wants to hurt me that badly. Like, I have felt that he wants to kill me. Like, I have to be careful whenever I leave the store. I don't run for the bus anymore. If I miss the bus, I miss the bus. Because there have been a couple of times where I'm running towards the bus and I almost fall and crack my head open. But God catches me. God is protecting me. God is ensuring that that nothing happens to me, because Lucifer is allowed to tempt everything he can, but he cannot end my life. He wants to. He's tried to. He's praying and hoping that I'll give up or that I'll get discouraged and I'll be like, okay, fine. You know what? Maybe I'm not worth saving, and walk away from God. And I'm sorry, but I've been in the world. The world, has nothing for me. The world has no joy for me, has no love for me. God has love for me. My Father has love for me. He protects me. He cares about me. He tucks me in at night. He stays watching over me. He makes sure that I wake up every morning because he wants things done. And he has things that I got to do. And there are things that so I used to take 2 buses. Now I'm taking 3 buses. It's a longer route. It's more convenient because now I get dropped off at work and I get dropped off right past my door. So it's less of a walk. But it's inconvenient because now it takes me longer to get home. Where it used to take me an hour and a half, now it's taking me almost 2 hours to get home. So there's some drawbacks, but and if I miss a bus, that's an extra half hour of waiting for the next one. So I'm just waiting on God. I'm like, God, I'm here. I'm waiting for you. I'm not moving. I am a pillar I am holding up your statutes. I am holding up your commandments. I am holding them in my heart. I've got them tightly wound around me. I am not giving up. I am not letting go because I know you're coming. I know you're here. I know that I'm about to get blessed and nothing is going to take me away from you. Nothing is going to shatter my belief, my faith, my obedience to you. And so, after all that, this morning, so God has been having me purchase all of these cleaning supplies. But he hasn't, he's like, go ahead and start, doing a little bit of cleaning. Scrape this here, scrape that there, so you don't have a lot to do when you start cleaning. Today, as I'm walking out the door, and the owner is standing outside, he's like, where are you going? And I'm like, I'm going to work, and I gotta go because I'm gonna miss the bus, and I can't miss the bus. And so he's not walking faster, but he's talking to me, and I don't want to be rude, so I'm kind of slowing down a little bit to talk to him. And I'm like, okay, I got 3-4 minutes to spare. And the owner looks at me and he says, look, at the end of the month, the health inspector's coming. I don't know which room they're going to choose, but they're going to choose a room to go into to check the state of the room. I'm like, okay, I understood. I'm like, okay, so Lucifer's trying to scare me. Lucifer's trying to make it seem like I'm about to get kicked out. I'm about to lose my home. It's all fear. It's mongering. I said, Father, let it be your will. Let it be your whatever you want to happen will happen. I'm here for whatever you need. I already have all of the things that I need to clean. I just need to buy a wider bucket and a mop, because the mop that I bought is more of a duster. It's not really meant for mopping. So I need a real mop and I need a bucket to be able to wring it out and all that. But I couldn't buy it last week because last week the money was a little short. Now I can because I have a little bit more. And so God is like, okay, you got this. I'm like, okay, Father, I got this. So now the bus is going to change. They're now going to be doing electronic payments. And I had been waiting on God because God was like, nope, I don't want you to put your card in the app. I don't want you to buy the day pass. I want you to keep doing it this way. And I was like, okay, but starting Monday, they're not going to take the money anymore. They're going to start requiring you to have the day pass on your phone. And I said, I can't afford not to get on the bus. And he goes, don't worry, they'll let you on. I'm like, okay. Because they're changing the way they're doing the bus pass. They're not going to do a physical bus pass anymore. It's all going to be electronic. And I started asking God, I'm like, Father, there are people that don't have accounts and all they have is cash. And they don't live in an area where they can easily go and get a day pass. I'm like, these people are going to be left without the bus. They're going to be left without a ride. And a lot of these people, they have to go to work. A lot of them don't have the money to be able to pay for cell service. They have to use Wi-Fi. They have phone cards. They don't have data packages. I said, that's not fair for them. And he said, one thing at a time. I'm like, okay. So, things are changing. Even though they don't look like they're changing, they're changing. I am in a new season. Things are going to change for the better, for the different. And it's going to happen overnight. Like one day I'm going to wake up and my spouse is going to be here. And I'm going to be like, oh my gosh. And, I may have to leave YouTube for a little while, but I'll be back. I know I said that I was going to have the website up and running and I was going to have it out by the 15th of April. Unfortunately, with my schedule change and the way that I have been working and how I've been getting home, I haven't had time to continue the work on it. And God has been having me rest. He's been having me sleep earlier because he needs me to get up earlier. And, because being the supervisor that's here, I need to be available and awake and cognizant and able to do my job. So his last day is tomorrow. After that, it goes back to my other two bosses being in the store together, and then everything goes back to normal. What my schedule is going to be, I don't know, because I don't know. But things are changing on the spouse front. There are movements. I've seen them, and we'll see. God bless you. May you seek him. May you follow him wherever he may lead you, because he's doing wonderful things. He's doing wonderful things. And if you're in alignment, you're seeing those things come to fruition. In the name of my Lord Jesus, amen. God bless.